Hello, welcome to Football Fan Show podcast. I am Danny, joined by Callum this week. What are we chatting about? Well, we're talking about how long Brenda Rodgers might have left as Leicester City manager. He insists he's the right man. Is he for that job? Wolves looking for a new manager, and the favourite for the job has just ended up being sacked. So looks like a particular Spanish coach might be in charge. We'll get into that. And is Erling Haaland a robot, an alien robot, or just an alien, or just a really good centre forward? We will we'll discuss all that and more, and take a look at the Champions League fixtures midweek, and the results as well. So without further ado, let's get into it, starting with Brenda Rodgers. How much time has he got left? Brendan Rodgers, how long has he got left at Leicester? They lost 2-1 to Bournemouth today. He insists he's the right man.
Let me have a look at my watch. About 10 minutes.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a statement tonight, but apparently, he keeps saying that he's the man to take them forward.
Who the man?
I think he shows great character, but I don't think his team does.
Do you think he looks in the mirror at home and like, you know, does like the Superman pose and goes, you know, who the man? You the man. To himself, you know, try and G himself up a little bit.
Maybe that's exactly what he's doing every day before work, and then maybe his wife's saying, "No, you're not the man. You're not the man."
Yeah, like ask me new boyfriends. Yeah, you're not a man. You're not a man, Brendan.
Yeah, pretty much. I reckon that's what's happened today. Yeah. Not going well for him. But who do you replace him with? That's a question.
There can only be one man.
Oh, do you want me to do it?
Please? Yeah.
Are you expecting me to say
MM? No, I mean, I'll say it if you want.
No. Do you want me to fire up the MM symbol into the night sky just to know that he's wanted?
He's been summoned like Batman. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. He's got his own searchlight.
He's the hero.
Yeah.
He's the hero we need, not that we deserve.
No, we do not deserve the god that is Mick McCarthy.
Mick will save them.
Mick will save us all. I need a hero. I'm searching out for a hero till the end of the night.
Right. When we do our t-shirt line, right? Picture of Mick McCarthy's face with "I need a hero."
Yes, him in the Superman cloak. On a serious note, Nuno.
I am serious.
Oh, you're being serious? I'm not.
Not really. Nuno's a good shout, like.
Nuno at Leicester. Yeah. Who else? Bruno Lage? I know he's just been sacked, but
what's a
I mean, it depends how ambitious they want to be. I mean, they could go for Thomas Tuchel. I mean, he'll never join them in a million years, but
I mean, you give it a go, like, you know. You could do a lot worse.
Oh yeah, but he would never go there. He's too big for them.
I mean, what's he doing? Chill on a beach somewhere.
I'd rather chill on a beach than manage Leicester.
I mean, yeah, to be fair. I can't disagree with you there.
I'm just thinking who else could do the job whilst I'm stuffing my face.
I'm trying to think of other available managers, like serious managers, you know. Not like, you know, take the piss ones that we do, you know.
Yeah, I mean a brilliant, you know, some managerial appointments sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
No, we're not going down that road.
Yes.
I said serious, not, you know. And bloody hell, I would definitely consider Mick McCarthy a more serious shout than Buddy.
Well, let's have a look at some of the names being linked to it. Sean Dyche, 5-2.
Sean Dyche, yeah.
Mauricio Pochettino, 9-2. Mauricio.
See, the thing is, if you consider Thomas Tuchel too big, you know, he would never go to them. Mauricio Pochettino's not going to go to them, is he?
The reason I consider Tuchel too big is that he's actually won a Champions League, whereas Mauricio Pochettino hasn't and has suffered significant damage to his reputation at PSG. Right. So I think Leicester is a rehabilitation role. It's to rehab his career.
I still think his level is a little bit higher than Leicester.
I agree. I agree. But I think
So
he needs
saying,
a
like,
role
if
to rehab his reputation.
thing
Not
is, right,
Leicester.
you say if you've won a high level trophy, then your level is like you only go and manage the top clubs. What about Bloody Ancelotti when he went to manage Everton? He must have been high and drunk at the same time.
Exactly. I think everybody was surprised. The thing is, I think it goes about how much you've achieved recently, not just historically. For example, Rafa Benitez was being linked with the Nottingham Forest job, and he's currently third favourite for the Leicester City role, 6-1. I'm not going to say a mighty fall has happened, but he did manage Newcastle in the Championship.
He did. But thing is, though, that wasn't his fault, and he
No, he wasn't.
could
That
have
wasn't.
left if
To
he
be fair to
wanted
him,
to. He could have left if he wanted to,
he
and he
showed.
decided to pick
He
back
showed, and pardon the pun about Brenda Rodgers, but I genuinely mean this. He actually
up.
showed great character to stay at Newcastle, despite Mike Ashley owning them
Yeah.
and staying with them and winning the
Just
championship.
imagine if referees was actually given the level of money that the new
Oh, if
owners.
he had Saudi levels of money, they'd be smashing it. I'd assume. Although Everton had quite a lot of money and he didn't exactly smash it there. Actually, no, he
No,
did a
didn't.
terrific
He didn't spend
job.
it.
He did a terrific job at Everton as Liverpool's special agent.
Oh, piss off! He's not going about special agents. He was not given covert operations by the ownership of Liverpool. He was not.
Yes, he was. Yeah, that is absolutely what happened. And he would have got away with it too if it hadn't been for blasted Farhad Mashiri getting involved and sacking him before his work was complete. He was turning Everton into a work of art for all Liverpool fans by turning them into an absolute joke.
Into a League One club, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And then he could have retired on that glory because Liverpool fans would have loved him forever.
I already do love him forever.
Yeah, but if he had relegated them again, in fact, if he had spent all the money in the world and bankrupted them, then he would have been loved.
The thing is, right, is that I don't want Everton to be bankrupted.
No, but if they get points deduction on points deduction on points deduction and end up in the National League, then that would be quite funny.
I want them down in their level. I don't want them to not exist.
Where is their level out of interest?
Everton's I don't know.
League One?
No, in all seriousness, the level they are right now is sort of it is definitely
like 14th, 13th in the Premier League.
Also, yeah, something like that. At best, that is.
Also being linked with it, 17-2. Unlikely. I'd like to see it happen. Is Marcelo Bielsa? I love him back in the Premier League.
Back with his little midget, translator, yeah.
Yeah, and the beer barrel that he sits on at halftime.
Not beer barrels. It's not keg. It's like a bloody little the the bloody I can't remember the name of it. But when people carry around the boxes of ice with cans of beer in it, yeah.
Yes.
It's like a box, not a keg.
It looks like one though, and I'd like to see it back. Also in the hunt, Ralph Hasenhüttl, the Southampton boss. He's not going to Leicester. And then Ollie at the wheel is 16-1.
You just say it like that.
Ollie at the wheel. Let's get Ollie at the wheel back.
I'm going to keep asking you to do that.
If they appoint him, I'm happy to do it. Like the line I said about Daniel Farke when he was sacked at Norwich City, where we went fark off. They've told him to fark off. Ollie at the wheel. Dean Smith 20-1 as well. I don't think he'll be leaving Norwich City anytime soon. So yeah, Dyche would be good. Sean Dyche would be good for Leicester. I think he's more likely to get that job than I pictured him as Everton manager, to be honest, but they seem to be having a better season than I expected. I got my predictions all wrong on who I thought would be sacked first. I definitely thought it would be Super Frank. Super Frank, yeah. No, I thought he'd be sacked first, and yeah, I've completely balls that up because we've had Scott Parker, we've had Thomas Tuchel, and now Bruno Lage. So yeah, I don't know. But interesting not to see Nuno on that list of potential odds of being the next next Leicester City manager. Anyway, I've mentioned Bruno. Let's talk about Wolves. And they sacked Bruno Lage at last weekend and looking for a new manager. They currently got... Who have they got in charge? I'm trying to find out who their current interim caretaker head coach is. I can't remember who the hell it is. But anyway, doesn't matter. At the moment, they've lost 3-0 to Chelsea. Bruno Lage, he won the league title in Portugal with Benfica. It just hasn't... Wolves have this habit of going with Portuguese managers. It just hasn't worked out for them this season. Where do you think it's gone wrong, Callum? You were struggling to put your finger on it earlier because you were like, they should be doing better, and you'd be surprised at where they are. Yeah,
because they've got some good players, but they've lost Connor Cody in defence, who I don't think is great, but he worked for them. I don't know, like they're not scoring enough goals. You've not really got a sort of real potent number 9 anymore. I mean, does Adama Traore still play? I don't think so.
No, he's at Barcelona.
He came back, didn't he?
No, he joined them on a permanent.
Oh, did he? There's me. Yeah, I don't know. They're just not scoring enough goals.
And excitingly, they've signed a 100-year-old up front. So yes, he got his first Premier League start against his old club, and it did not.
Did he actually play today? Did he?
He started against Chelsea.
Jesus.
But good news for Wolves fans on the managerial front, because the favourite for your job has been sacked at Seville. Weirdly, we were having a conversation off air, and we were just, Sevilla is one of those clubs in Spain that you just expect to do well. They're third bottom in La Liga. They're in the relegation zone, and
they're in the Champions League group stage.
They're in the Champions League group stage. They won the Europa League last season, and yet they're in the relegation zone, which means Julian Lopetegui, former Real Madrid manager and Spain national team boss, sacked as Sevilla boss. He is now 1-10 with Sky Bet to be the next Wolverhampton Wanderers manager. Works out because they don't have to pay compensation, but they're going a little further afield than Portugal. They've widened their search across the Iberian Peninsula. Also being linked with it, and if it's not Lopetegui, they've got Pedro Martins as well. He's the second favourite, who is I'm reliably informed, is the current Olympiacos, or was Olympiacos manager, up until very recently. So another Portuguese manager. Ruben Amorim? I don't know who that is. But it's another, guess what? To the shock of many, Portuguese football manager, who is currently at Sporting Club de Portugal. There you go. He's currently at Lisbon.
You know what? Is it like a thing where, you know the way that's Bilbao in Spain, they only... Basque players. Is it with Wolves? It's like, no, they have to be put, coaches, players, IT guys, cleaners, they all have to be Portuguese, do they? Is that the way it is?
I guess so, because it's Jorge Mendes that helps them out, doesn't he?
Yeah, it helps them out. It shouldn't be like, here are guys, here's your full squad of 25 players that I manage.
You know that they appoint a lot of Portuguese managers and taking the piss when Andre Villas-Boas is 18-1 for the Wolves job.
God.
I don't think he'll be coming back to the Premier League. I think he's a better... The thing about Andre Villas-Boas, very good in his first job, subsequently has failed to live up to expectations since. Where was he? Chelsea, Tottenham, Russia.
I lost track of him after Russia.
I think he managed Zenit, and then he went to Marseille. Now he's back doing what he does best, driving cars in African deserts. Dakar. He does the Paris-Dakar rally. So there you go. He's a motorsport driver now. So, sod football. You know what I will say about Andre Villas-Boas? When he was in the Premier League, he was the best looking of the managers. But then again, when you've got to compare yourself with Sam Allardyce, you know, I take a bowl full of puke. That looks more attractive to me than Sam Allardyce. So yeah, Leicester City. We've had a look at Brenda Rodgers' potential replacement. Julian Lopetegui looks like he's going to be going to Wolves. Excited for Lopetegui. He plays some good football. He's obviously been very successful with Seville. Was harshly sacked by Real Madrid and harshly sacked by the Spanish national team for taking the Real Madrid job. But do you think that's enough to keep... Wolves should stay up, right?
Yeah, I think they're definitely good enough to stay up. As I always say, all their teams worse than them. So I always think about any club. The other three teams worse than them. Yes, Wolves are better than at least, probably definitely more than three teams. Yeah, so I think they'll be fine. They're just going through a little bit of a rough patch at the moment.
Bit of a rough patch. That is a nice junction to end our conversation on manager watch of Leicester and Wolves, and to tell you that in the women's game last night, England, record crowd at Wembley, 2-1 win against the world champions, the USA, and I believe that takes Serena Wiegmann's record to 20 unbeaten as England boss. I mean, and I'm not just saying this, sack Gareth Southgate now. Say to Serena Wiegmann, you can manage the women's team, but you can also manage the men's team as well, because the style of football they play, fucking beautiful. And I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, you know, it's just women's football." No, they play really fucking good football, and yeah, I'm desperate to see somebody replace Southgate that has any idea of good, attacking, entertaining football. Not just as we said last week, just sit back, defend, and be very, very boring.
Try not to lose.
Yeah, pretty much. Although it works in tournaments, is the argument. Back to manager watch. This time, Nottingham Forest. It looked like they were going to sack Steve Cooper and replace him with Rafa Benitez at one point. Doesn't look like that's happening anymore, Callum. He's signed a new contract. How long till 2025, isn't it?
2025, 3 years.
Despite being bottom of the table. Now, that might surprise Premier League fans, but when you understand that Nottingham Forest were nearly relegated, were relegation fodder when he came in and got them promoted in the same season, you know, Chris Hughton was the boss there beforehand and they were just above the Championship relegation zone. He comes in, turns them around, and what a turnaround it was, because they finished in the playoffs and got promoted. So they know where their bread is buttered. This is a club that clearly understands...
That's such a southern turn of phrase now.
Yeah, people can't afford bread anymore.
Exactly.
I never got you to do the Accrington Stanley thing.
I know. You didn't say it when you said Accrington Stanley. I was like, all right.
Oh, right. I could do it again if you like. We can rewind. Take that, rewind it back. So, more music references. Yeah, Steve Cooper, the Forest boss. Clearly they're going down, aren't they, Callum? But do you expect them to come straight back up again? I know they've brought in about 1 million players, 1 million mercenaries like Lingard. Yeah,
they're probably going to, like, when they go down, they probably put quite a few players in on probably higher wages than they wanted them to be on. So they're going to have to sell a few players, probably buy in a couple of freebies or a couple of cheap ones. I don't know. I don't know that much about them to go, oh, yeah, they're guaranteed just to come straight back up. Because you look at teams like that always come up, like Burnley and Watford that went down last season. And you look at them, I think Burnley won today, but I think like Watford lost.
Yeah,
and then just bring in new manager, and like they're not doing that well. So it's hard to say. Like you've got to be good to go down and come right back up again.
Yeah, you do. And well, if you look at West Bromwich Albion this season,
that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Steve Bruce looks like he's going to be the next for the chop in the Championship, and really, I don't see where else he goes after. Where can you go if you? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I think sticking with Steve Cooper, even if they get relegated, which is probably going to happen, most likely,
it's the best thing for them.
Is the best thing for them. And then next
season,
best
chance to come back home.
Next season, if they aren't there or thereabouts, then that's when you pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, definitely he's done an amazing job there. So I think they're just happy. I think most Nottingham Forest fans are just happy to be back in the Premier League and
yeah,
have their club on the map. But especially with what's going on at Derby this season, League One. Especially what's going on with Leicester at the moment, despite Leicester beating Nottingham Forest last time out. It's not great for that part of the country in terms of football. You've got Derby in League One, Nottingham Forest in the Premier League relegation zone, Leicester City in the Premier League relegation zone, Burton Albion in the League One relegation zone, Notts County in the National League, really not being able to compete with Wrexham. So it's not a great area. I mean, there's Mansfield. And they should maybe get promoted this season, but we'll see. Something that you want to talk about, Callum, which I think is incredibly interesting, is Xabi Alonso kick-starting his managerial career with a pharmaceutical company. It's Bayer Leverkusen. I didn't know about this, so tell me what you know.
I just saw that. I just saw it announced, and I was pleasantly surprised because I love Xabi Alonso.
Future Liverpool manager?
I reckon if he does a half-decent job there, he's got a better chance than Gerrard at the minute. Much better chance than Gerrard at the minute. Bayer Leverkusen are a Champions League club. He starts off really well today. We mentioned off there, they beat Schalke. I mean, they beat Schalke, so they pretty much beaten bloody, Swindon. But they beat them 4-0. And he's just such a handsome man, isn't he? I can admit that. As a heterosexual male myself, I can admit that.
Oh, stop it! Stop it! I don't want these male models in my league. No thanks. I want ugly bastards. I want my sexiest manager of the year award to go to people like Sam Allardyce, who's constantly down Greg's the bakers and stuffing his face with sausage rolls.
That's you are mean, you.
Xabi Alonso, good-looking guy, but is he? Well, I mean, we can't judge him from one game, but let's judge him from one game. They have won 4-0 against Schalke. Schalke are not the greatest team in the Bundesliga by any stretch of the imagination.
No. Yeah, they've only got promoted up from the second Bundesliga this season.
Yes,
that's getting relegated.
Yes, and not particularly. Looking good for them down in 16th in the Bundesliga at the moment. But Leverkusen 14th, not having a great season.
That's why they got rid of their manager. Yeah.
Xabi Alonso in. But still, though, top of the Bundesliga, and I want to give them a shout-out because they're playing tomorrow. Union Berlin, still top of the Bundesliga. The Leicester City story is happening in the Bundesliga.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's as extreme as that. Because literally, Leicester went from almost getting relegated, literally being bottom to top, right? Union Berlin are mid-table club.
Yeah, but they nearly went bankrupt a couple of years ago. You've heard the bleed for Union thing, where their fans literally gave blood to keep that club alive. Yeah. They just took the money from blood donations and put it into the club. So I like that story. I want them to win the Bundesliga. Will it happen? Absolutely zero chance, but we'll see.
Bayern eventually will always every couple of seasons, Bayern have a thing where they don't start the greatest, and everyone else is keeping up with them. But then eventually they always get ahead.
Absolutely, that is constantly a Bayern München thing, where they just find a way because they are that damn good. Right, moving on from Xabi Alonso. Yes, the future. Who replaces Jurgen Klopp out of interest? Who's going to replace him? Gerrard, Alonso. You'll have to wait. and see, right?
To be honest, well, he's here till at bare minimum 2026, so it's still he's still got a couple of years, and then at that point, I don't know. Like I reckon if he just walked tomorrow, it would probably be his assistant Pep Linders would take over temporarily until they find another manager.
Yeah, we will wait and see. So let's move on and chat about something the most important football story of them all. So much so that Sky Sports have a full page dedicated to this. Okay, you're aware of this massive football story. It's about £1.5 million. Okay, and the headline is: brace yourself, Callum. This is the biggest story in football, biggest story in sports, on SkySports.com. Rebecca Vardy ordered to pay Rooney's legal costs over Wagatha Christie trial, which could reach 1.5 million. That is on Sky Sports. /football/news. Don't lose the will to live. We'll move on.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Please move on.
Yes, a proper story now in any other business. Jack Leslie. It's a name you may not be familiar with, but he has now been recognised by the Football Association as the first black footballer to receive an England call-up. And he's been awarded the posthumous honorary cap by the FA. So Leslie was called up. He's a Plymouth Argyle legend, hence why I said earlier, this is the Plymouth Argyle story.
Yeah,
they've just built a statue outside of Home Park. So Leslie was called up to the England squad in 1925, but was denied an England appearance because of the colour of his skin. The Football Association has awarded him this honorary cap 97 years after he was called up. So he is officially England's first black player. The inside left who scored 137 goals in 400 appearances for thee, and I will do it, Green Army, between 1921 and 1934, was called up to the national team in 1925, but was denied because of his heritage. Leslie died, unfortunately, in 1988, and has been immortalised by a statue that was unveiled outside Home Park on Friday, whilst the FA chair, Debbie Hewitt, confirmed Leslie has been given that posthumous cap 97 years on from when he was called. It's not all doom and gloom in football. You get nice stories like this, and I love it as well.
That's a nice story, yeah.
Absolutely glorious story. Now, Callum, a story that you might not be interested in, but one that I am. It's Swindon Town, because they have cleared £6 million worth of debt. That is because they inherited £7.5 million of debt, near £6 million, and their debt currently stands at £1 million. So £6.5 million?
How have they cleared £6.5 million at once?
Well, that's because we're the best well-run club in the country, and League Two is the owner.
Money.
Yes, clearly, the owner's clearly spent £6.5 million of his own money to clear it, and in fact, the last.
Why has he just thrown the other million in there then?
Because it's an EFL loan that can be paid back over 10 years, so there's no rush to pay it off.
Oh.
So he just spent £2.5 million on a debenture which arose following the decision from former owner Andrew Black to sell the club in 2012 to Lee Power. Now, if you've got nothing positive to say about either, don't say it at all. They're both twats. Swindon's previous guardian has now been paid off, and the club is now hoping to build a more sustainable future. As I say, only £1 million of debt, which is an EFL loan, which can be paid off over time. So Clem has put his own money into the club, cleared the debt, and it's now looking good for a club that was nearly going out of business about, would have been last season, wouldn't it? Last year.
Yeah. How many players did they have? Was it 9?
Nine players, and since then we've been to a playoff semi-final, lost our manager, lost loads of players, because our manager went to
still didn't get promoted.
Charlton Athletic and got raided.
Still rotten in the bottom half of League Two. Yeah.
I mean, we're 10th, so we're doing all right. But
okay, you're mid-table. You're reaching above your height.
We're well below
above
our
your
heights.
station.
I mean, we're the greatest team to wear red north of Barcelona.
One day you're going to stop saying that because you
I
keep
will
on
never,
saying
ever stop saying that until we actually are better than Barcelona. When
Mate,
we are,
there's clubs in France who wear red that are better than you.
I completely deny all knowledge of those teams because
bet
we
you
are the
do.
greatest team to wear
Shut
red
up.
north of Barcelona and south of Liverpool as well. Or maybe
Yeah.
not. Let's say no. Let's say not. There's only one team in red that can hold a candle to us. Which one, Callum?
You're going to see someone like Buddy Sunderland or something, aren't you? I don't know, something random.
Barnsley.
Of course.
Barnsley. Morfuni, by the way, on this financial said, I'm pleased to confirm that the historic debentures against the club have now been satisfied. An incredible amount of work has gone in behind the scenes to get to this stage, and significant and really positive steps for the future of Swindon Town has been made. And he paid tribute to the supporters, sponsors, and partners. I mean, let's be honest. As a Swindon Town fan, we know we've got it good at the moment, and we're very happy. Even if the on-pitch performances don't match what's going on off the pitch, we do love the owner of the club, who's currently in Australia because that's where he's from. And we're very fortunate in that respect because we had very poor ownership previously. My fear is that he'll put in too much money and go, yeah, I am out of here. I don't want that to happen, but I don't think it will happen for a while yet. But you know,
yeah.
Hopefully, it'll will stick around. He'll stick around for a while because it'd be great. Plus, we want to rebuild one of our stands as well. So, looking forward to that. I'm still waiting to see if Steve Bruce gets sacked this evening or somebody gets sacked, but apparently not. No one's getting sacked this evening. I'm disappointed by that. I'm exceptionally disappointed. Right, let's talk about robots, aliens, and petitions to get robots banned from the Premier League. With 19 goals already this season, teams have been left somewhat scrambling to find a way to stop Manchester City and Norway striker Erling Haaland. Bournemouth are the only team to have prevented him from finding the back of the net. Bloody Bournemouth are the only team he hasn't scored against. There you go. But a petition to get the Norwegian striker banned from the Premier League. I think it's got over 1 million signatures now. I think it was at 1.4 million.
It's a joke. It's a joke petition. Even if they get 10 million people, they're not going to realistically go, oh yeah, we're going to ban Erling Haaland because he's too good.
I think they should. I think it's unfair to everybody else. You know, I think it's unfair to Manchester United. I think it's unfair to Liverpool. I think it's unfair to Chelsea. I think it's unfair to Arsenal.
Why is it unfair? I mean, bloody hell, mate, I'd love it if he couldn't play, right? Because he's bloody hard. I fucking hate him at the minute. And he's scoring so many goals.
Everybody does.
But you're not going to ban a player, are you? Because he's scoring. I mean, because he scored 20 goals in October the 8th.
He's too good. He's too good. He shouldn't be allowed to play because he's too good because no one can stop him. But yeah, I don't know. I just obviously this is another one of those stupid things that have come out, and yeah, it's just hilarious. I just find it funny to see. Obviously, if Haaland is banned, then we will break that news elsewhere. We'll have a look at the Champions League.
You'll hear from me on Twitter first.
Oh, yes, you will. What is it, at Callum Brown 94?
Don't publicise me. I don't want bloody. I mean, I'll just.
Well, you said you break it on Twitter. I want to direct people the flow of traffic.
Trust me, you don't want to see my Twitter.
You do. Before we go to the Champions League games midweek and wrap up with the league tables and all that jazz, let's go to some of the transfer rumours because we're approaching January apparently.
Transfer rumours?
Yes, exactly. There's gossip already. That Real Madrid are set to tempt Borussia Dortmund and England midfielder Jude Bellingham to sign for them. I mean, it does come from the Telegraph, the Tory Graph, by suggesting the chance may never come around again. Trust me, if you're that good, Real Madrid will always come calling.
Hang on, he's 19. He could play for anyone for 6-7 years, and then go to Dortmund whenever go to Madrid whenever he wanted to. I don't think he wants to go to Madrid.
I wouldn't recommend it. It wouldn't be a great move for his career. But then neither would following Sancho to Manchester United be a great move.
He's not going to Man United.
No, he's never going to Manchester United. I've heard Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But would you actually splash the cash on him? That's a question.
Well, I mean, bloody hell, yes, I would. But then these owners...
I'm thinking your owners going,
that's the only thing.
He's a bit expensive.
The only thing that I'm worried about is that they don't need us to go. I mean, we get told, there's money there for generational talents. And who is Jude Bellingham but a generational talent? Like the most hyped up, not hyped up, but, most talented England midfielder for 15 years. I'm sorry, if you don't pay the money for him and have him, I mean, as I said, he's 19. Look how good he is at 19. Captain Borussia Dortmund in the league and in the Championship, Champions League. Sorry, I'm sorry, if you don't spend the money and get him, then get out.
You know what? Genuinely, and I'm going to pitch this to you now. Liverpool should forget Jude Bellingham. They should sign Joby Bellingham, his younger brother, who's 17 and still at Birmingham City.
Probably will.
I reckon he'd be cheaper.
Of course, he'd be cheaper.
And apparently, he's just as good.
Well, I reckon get both of them. Why not?
Get both of them. Get both of them. He's made 7 appearances since signing his professional contract for Birmingham City, and he's very good, apparently. Very good player, one to watch. But then, so his older brother, fantastic player.
That's Joe Bellingham is what, 17?
Yes. Jude is 19.
Jude's 19. I'm sorry, it's just
Jude
no
goes
brainer.
to Liverpool, Joby goes to Dortmund.
If he wanted to.
Yeah, both Bellinghams.
But I think, he doesn't have to follow the same path as his brother, though.
No, that's true. That's true.
Doesn't have to go to Dortmund because his brother went to Dortmund.
No, I just think Borussia Dortmund are very good at nurturing young talent.
They are.
That is, if I was a young player, I'd sell my soul to go to Borussia Dortmund. Make me 10 years younger, and I would love to sign for Borussia Dortmund. But then I was never that good a footballer anyway. And then, you know what? They'd realise I was crap, release me, and then I'd sign for the greatest team.
I was going to say, go to
German football.
1860, yeah.
1860. Then they realise that I was crap and my dream would be dead.
Not even good enough for the third Bundesliga. Yeah.
No, probably not. Not even the third Bundesliga. It's just the Zweisliga. Just the third league. Liverpool are monitoring a host of Galatasaray players, apparently, including Sasha Bowie, the 22-year-old Denmark centre-back, Victor Nelson, 23, Turkish wingers Karim Aktürkoğlu, me neither, 23, and Yunus Akgün, who's 22. This is according to Liverpool's favourite newspaper, The Scum.
Yeah, so
everyone
never trust the shit when you're looking at Liverpool stuff. Never.
What's that? I thought Liverpool loved the Sun. Everyone reads the Sun, shining out of Rupert Murdoch's ass.
Yeah, may as well sign your soul out to him as well.
Yeah, exactly. What a bunch of bastards. PSG are considering a move for Chelsea Gabon striker Pierre. Emerick Aubameyang, he's only just signed.
He's only just fucking came in.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Exactly, that's from a French newspaper.
Hang on. Why would they want to buy Aubameyang? Literally, they've got fucking Mbappe up front, and they've got backup strikers. You got a young backup striker. I can't remember his name, but a young talented striker as backup. And then you got Neymar and Messi. Why would you want?
I mean, Messi wants to leave apparently.
Yeah, because apparently Forbes have released the most well played football players in the world today, and Messi's not top. He's seconds now because Mbappe is now top.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to offload Neymar as well because he's just not. It's not really worked for him.
Thing is, this season with the new manager, like they've been playing really well, all three of them. Neymar's been playing really well, and so's Messi as well. So, I mean, where does Messi go?
Real Madrid.
No,
That was a joke, by the way.
I was going to say.
Not seriously. Maybe he'll go back to Barcelona, cap in hand, going, sorry, I left. Can I come back? They love 30-year-old players. They love players in their 30s, Barcelona.
35?
Yeah, they love players in their 30s. It'll be like Ronaldo going back to Manchester United. That's worked. That's worked magnificently, hasn't it? It's not like he's on the bench every week.
They're playing. I think he said. Forbes said that Ronaldo, who's their highest, £90 million he's going to get this year.
Jesus.
To be on the bench.
Absolutely, Jesus. Speaking of Ronaldo, Manchester United are confident Cristiano Ronaldo, 37, will stay at the club in January because of a lack of interest in the Portuguese forward. That's from ESPN in America. 38 in February, as you were saying, Callum. Just and there's a lack of interest.
His level's dropped now. His level that he wants has just dropped.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to go to the MLS window. They're not going to care about him running around loads.
No.
They're just going to say to him, you stay in the bloody box.
Well, Manchester United could just plonk him up front and say, just stay there. We'll do all the hard work. You just stay there.
Premier League, that's not going to work. And Ten Hag doesn't play that way anyway.
No, he doesn't, to be fair. Can't wait for Newcastle United to confirm the signing of 38-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. Speaking of Newcastle, they have held talks with Brazilian side Vasco da Gama over the potential signing of 18-year-old Brazilian midfielder Andre Santos, who's expected to cost £30 million. That's according to the Eye. Leicester City manager Brenda Rodgers accepts that England midfielder James Maddison's good form will lead to offers for the 25-year-old in January. Surely an inflated price for James Maddison.
Hang on. Didn't Newcastle try and offer 60 million for him in the summer?
Yeah.
So what are they going to ask for him now? 80 million?
100 million or something
ridiculous.
Neither was Harry Maguire, but they Manchester United still paid 80 million for him. And
I mean, Crystal Palace laughed at them. That was just that was a banter sign. That
with the amount of money in the game, it's a seller's market. Really, it's a seller's market. You can pretty much charge anything you want. What I find hilarious is that English players go for these exuberant fees, even though if they were, say, Italian or Spanish, they'd go for like 30 million less.
You're realising this now. That's what happened.
No.
There's literally an English tax.
Yes, there is an English tax, and I everybody knows there is, and
it's because the homegrown quota.
They need to abolish that. Southampton manager Ralph Hasenhüttl, his position is uncertain. And the South Coast club are looking at former RB Leipzig manager Domenico Tedesco, not Tesco, don't read it like that, and Manchester City assistant manager Enzo Maresca as possible candidates to replace the Austrian. I mean, I would say that just because he puts the cones out for Pep, don't expect him to be great. But that's what we said about that's what I particularly said about Mikel Arteta, and it's come back to bite me on the arse this season. So yeah, I don't know much about Domenico Tedesco, but I'm sure I'll end up calling him Tesco if he is appointed Southampton manager. So I look forward to that mispronunciation happening in the near future, maybe. Maybe Ralph will get sick of Southampton and get a Leicester. Let's wait and see. Napoli's Mexican winger, Hirving Lozano, who's 27, could end up at Manchester United or Everton next season. Those are two very different clubs. His former agent has suggested, his agent's going, yes, he'll end up at Manchester United, and then he ends up at like Accrington Stanley.
Who are they?
Exactly. See, I told you I'd get you to do it.
Yeah, I didn't say it with any exuberance, though.
No. But it is what it is.
Ex-Liverpool and Newcastle boss Rafa Benitez and newly appointed Bayer Leverkusen boss Xabi Alonso were among the names considered to replace Steve Cooper at Nottingham Forest before they decided to offer him a new contract. We covered that a little bit earlier. Tottenham will pay Juventus £30.7 million to sign Sweden international winger Dejan Kulusevski. There we go, on a permanent deal. Got there in the end. Barcelona's vice president, Eduard Romeo, is confident that the club will find a way to bring Paris Saint-Germain forward Lionel Messi back if they wanted to. I said he'd go back to Barcelona. Apparently they're interested in bringing him back. Well, the problem with Barcelona has been that they sign these players and then they have no space in their squad for them. And they're not allowed to register them. So, like, Aubameyang wasn't registered to play this season before he went to Chelsea because they were trying to offload him. Who else is it? They've got a really good player that's on really high wages, but he refuses to go. Is it no. Who is it? Manchester United wanted to get him. Barcelona player. Manchester.
Frankie de Jong.
Oh yeah, Frankie de Jong. That's it. He's on good money. Manchester United wanted him. Barcelona told him, "Sod off. We need you gone." And he went.
And he said no.
No, you see that beach over there? Yeah, that beach. Yeah. Specifically that beach. That is where I'm going to be sitting on your contract because I'm going to have the time of my life on that beach. Not playing football.
It's not just that. It's that it's not that he's happy with the wages he's on. It's that he's actually owed money from them.
Yes.
Like I don't know what the word for it is, but they owe him about 16, 17 million quid in wages that they're just refusing to pay and want to get rid of him to try and get out of not paying, get out of paying him what he's owed.
Take him
it's
to
like
court.
Just scum.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. They want to take him to court over it, and it's like
exactly.
Just pay the man his fucking money.
Pay him his dues. Even terminate his contract if you're not interested.
Pay him off. Pay off his contract.
They did the same thing to Aubameyang at Arsenal. They paid up his contract and let him join Barca on a free.
That's it. Just fucking.
But Barcelona don't have any money, even though they made an 80 million quid profit somehow.
Yeah. I mean, we all know about that. Just
well, they got a payday loan, essentially. Leicester City are finalising a deal to sign Poland goalkeeper Bartomeu Dragowski from Italian club Spezia Calcio in January. I mean, I'm hoping that doesn't replace Danny Ward, but why'd they get rid of Schmeichel? Like that was the dumbest decision. Yeah, but that was still a dumb decision in my estimation.
Yeah,
that was just dumb.
The thing is, I don't know why he went. Like he went to Nice of all teams.
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
Like,
although they have loads of money because they're owned by Ratcliffe guy who's a chemicals billionaire from the UK, and a massive Tory party donor and a tax avoider. Sorry, alleged tax avoider. France midfielder Houssem Ayour, whose contract with Aouar, thank you. That's why we have Callum. He knows more about pronunciation of players than me. His contract with Lyon runs out in the summer of 2023. He's expected to leave the French club. Roma, Atletico Madrid, Real Betis and Sevilla interested in the 24-year-old. And Crystal Palace, their forward Junior Dixon, has been scouted by Everton and Borussia Dortmund, whilst Belgium club Genk are also interested in the 17-year-old, not the 70-year-old, 17-year-old. It'd be interesting if he was 70. 17-year-old player. That's according to the Telegraph. Okay. Champions League. Then I won't sing the annoying Champions League anthem. Like I often do. We'll avoid that because my hearing's bad enough and I don't want to hear myself sing it. We've got the memeable Bayern Munich Victoria Pilsen, which had "Bay Please" on it, which became an instant meme when you're arguing with your girlfriend. "Bay Please." It finished 5-0 to Bayern Leverkusen. Victoria Pilsen losing 5-0 away at Bayern. Olympique Marseille 4, Sporting Club de Portugal 1. Porto 2, Bayer Leverkusen 0. That was not Xabi Alonso's first game in charge. That was the previous manager's final game in charge. Club Brugge 2, Atletico Madrid 0. Ajax. How have Ajax lost 6-1 at home?
That's Napoli for you. I mean,
That is Napoli.
Napoli are top of Serie A at the moment as well.
But when it comes to their form in the Champions League, I don't mean to go back to this quote, which I've already used once and I don't really want to use again. But sometimes they're good, sometimes shit.
They're just good.
Yeah, they're not always great in Europe.
Well, they are this season.
They are, but most seasons they're just fucking inconsistent.
This season they're not.
Well, yeah. Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0, Internazionale 1, Barcelona 0.
Oh God. Funny.
Liverpool 2, Rangers 0. Rangers have subsequently recovered against their greatest foe, St Mirren now, beating them, the Titans of St Mirren, easily preparing them. No journalist is going to ask Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, good win today, Giovanni. Does that prepare you for the Liverpool game midweek? Yeah, because St Mirren are really like Liverpool. Really.
On the same level.
Yeah, they're so good. Liverpool fans fear St Mirren, the powerhouse of St Mirren. Jeez, get a grip.
I'm surprised he even knows who they are.
Even Rangers supporters don't know who the fuck they are.
Who are they?
Exactly. That was a bit Welsh.
I was going to Welsh now
exactly.
for the Scottish teams.
Exactly. RB Salzburg. What is this show? I don't know. It's hardly about football anymore.
It's just us. It's just us being our usual selves.
Pretty much. RB Leipzig 1, Dinamo Zagreb 0. RB Salzburg 1, Dinamo Zagreb 0. RB Leipzig 3, Celtic 1. There we go. Get that round the right order. Graham Potter got his first win midweek. As well. Yeah, English. Me learn speaky. Chelsea 3, Milan 0. It was Graham Potter's first win in Europe. And I saw the meme, and an unfair meme, may I point out, that Arsenal fans reacting to Graham Potter winning his first Champions League game before Mikel Arteta. I'm like, Arsenal aren't even in the fucking Champions League. Give Arteta a fucking chance. It's just this anti-Arsenal bias, which, by the way, I blame on Arsenal Fan TV being a bunch of knobs.
Yeah.
It's not as good without them losing. Juventus 3, Maccabi Haifa 1. You know what? I'll hold my hand up. I will volunteer to go on Arsenal Fan TV and say, Arteta out, fam. Why? Why can I justify Arteta out, fam? Why? Because this show ain't as good without Arsenal losing. So Arteta out, fam, is what I would say on Arsenal Fan TV. I volunteer to go on Arsenal Fan TV and say Arteta out, fam. Real Madrid 2, Shakhtar Donetsk 1. Fairy tale not exactly coming to fruition there. Sevilla 1, Dortmund 4. So another reason for Julian Lopetegui's sacking at Seville. Benfica 1, PSG 1, and Manchester City 5, FC Copenhagen 0. So shall we look ahead to match day 4 of the group stage, because they are coming thick and fast, and these are next week before we head into something called a World Cup in Qatar. Never heard of them. So you got Maccabi Haifa versus Juventus. That's Juventus, right? That's Juventus winning that one.
Maccabi Haifa won this week 1-0 against them in Italy.
No, they lost 3-1.
Oh, did they?
They lost 3-1.
I misheard the score.
Okay,
Juventus, yeah.
Yeah, Copenhagen versus Man City. I think we all know that. Yeah. Copenhagen are going to return and win 7-0. PSG versus Benfica. Weirdly, the only club with Sporting and Lisbon in their title. There you go. There's another football annoying football hipster fact. Sporting Club do not have the word Sporting and Lisbon in their title, but Benfica do. PSG Benfica. Who did Benfica beat? who was it that they beat, and it was a surprise. I can't remember who they beat. I know they got a 1-1 draw against PSG last time out, and it'd be great if they could do it again. Was it Juventus? It might have been Juventus that they beat 1-0.
I think it was Juve, yeah.
Yeah, 2-1, sorry. They beat Juve 2-1 away in Turin, which I think may have been the game you were alluding to.
Mm-hmm.
Dinamo Zagreb, Salzburg. I mean, it's Salzburg, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The two minnows of the group. Dortmund, Sevilla. I mean, managerless Sevilla, so Dortmund probably.
Yeah.
AC Milan, Chelsea. Probably Chelsea.
Well, either, yeah.
Yeah, it could be either. Shakhtar Donetsk not playing at home, of course, against Real Madrid. Real. Although the last season, didn't they beat them in Madrid? So, but it hasn't happened this season.
Well, that was our favourite team who beat them in Madrid, wasn't it?
And Shakhtar.
Did Shakhtar beat them in?
Shakhtar beat them as well as I shot the Sheriff Tiraspol. Since you mentioned it and you gave me an opportunity, because we're actually going to mention them today. Also, Celtic versus RB Leipzig. That'll be an interesting one.
Is that at Celtic
Parkhead? Yeah, that's a Parkhead. I just like the Celtic chance. Yeah, come on, coming forth, ye black and tans. Boom. All the Celtic chants are literally either the English version of the Irish national anthem or songs about the IRA.
Yeah.
Napoli versus Ajax. You can see why I'm a Hibs fan. Napoli, Ajax, more middle class. Atletico Madrid versus Club Brugge. Xabi Alonso's first European game. Leverkusen versus Porto. Expecting that's a tough game for
Which is it?
Leverkusen Porto.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's a tough start. You'd want Rangers in that first game, wouldn't you? You'd want somebody like that, or you'd want an easier game.
Yeah.
Rangers, having beaten the Giants of St Mirren, are up against the slightly smaller Liverpool.
Yeah, but it's going to be tough though because Ibrox as well. Like,
oh come on, they're a pissant club. You'll beat them.
We should do quite easily.
Yeah, you should.
If we turn up.
Rangers are no bigger than Wolves.
Jesus.
They're not. Celtic are a bigger club than Rangers.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Barcelona versus Inter.
Is that at the Spotify Stadium, is it?
Yeah, that's at the Spotify Stadium. I mean, hang on. I'm surprised the kickoff there hasn't been delayed due to buffering. Sorry, we've lost internet connection. Sorry, Barcelona are being used on another device.
Yeah, the bandwidth, across. The bandwidth. Yeah, someone else is using your computer now in the house, so the whole bandwidth of the stadium's just a bit off key at the moment.
We're sorry, but somebody else is using the Camp Nou. Please try again.
Or they get adverts in the middle of the match. Yeah.
Probably, unless you pay for Spotify, which I do. Victoria Pilsen versus Bay, so it'll be Please Bay this week. Please Bay, when you're desperate.
Bay, please, and then you're on your hand next week. You're on your hands and knees.
Please Bay,
please Bay, please. So week one was the first stage of begging.
Bay, please.
Where you're on your feet just about still. You're just begging, pleading. But this week you're on your hands and knees. You are literally. If she says no,
Bay.
If she says no this time, you're dead.
Tottenham versus Eintracht Frankfurt and Sporting Club de Portugal versus Marseille. Those are the final. That's a roundup. What's going on in the Champions League? They're coming at you thick and fast.
And that was this week's edition of the Football Fan Show podcast. Thank you very much for joining. If you can leave a positive review on Spotify, Amazon or Apple, wherever you get your podcast from, that'd be great. And if you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up as well. We will be back next week with another podcast episode. Thank you very much for tuning in this week. See you next week. Have a great week.